Hey everybody, and welcome back to the bountiful world. I swear, every single time it does that. Welcome back everybody to the bountiful world. This is episode number 7, and I'm standing in front of our awesome tree farm that I've done in the last episode. And you know, she is working like an absolute charm. I've gone through and done a few harvests of it. And yeah, we've got a lot of oak wood now, which is really nice. I have added this chest here for the saplings and the apples that I'll eventually pick up. And I have actually recently restocked this with bone meal, so this will be chugging away. So in between the end of last episode and this episode, I have actually done a few things. Nothing massive, but just a few things I wanted to get out of the way. First thing I've done is, you can probably see, is I've lit up the whole island with torches, mainly because that was a bit annoying. And yeah, I wanted to get like the whole island spawn proofed. So as far as I can tell, there's no spawn spaces, except for, I think, some stuff can still spawn on top of buildings or whatever. But that is pretty good for now, at least. I won't be ambushed by anything should I walk outside at nighttime. Okay, so the next thing I've done is in our skeleton spawner down here. So if I jump down here, you see I have changed this up a little bit because I learned of a new mechanic that I completely overlooked for the entire time that I've been playing this game. This feature has existed for a long time and I've just never used it. So I've actually decided to use it. That is a little loud. I'm going to turn that down a bit. Is that? I always forget. Okay, it's blocks. Alright, I'll just turn that down for now. Something I always forget that exists is that wolves are hostile to skeletons, even without you aggravating them. So what I've done here is I've modified this little setup so that wolves are inside it. And eventually when skeletons drop down... Get my third one. That's a lot of skeletons, wow. Usually takes a little bit of time because of how far they have to travel. There we go. So if we wait a moment. Come on. Don't embarrass me, please. I swear it works. There we go. Yeah, so the wolves will actually start to kill the skeletons. And because they're at one hit, they won't attack back, which is awesome. So yeah, because the wolves count as a player kill, you still get the XP from it, which is really nice. So, basically, it makes this farm fully AFKable. Well, almost fully AFKable. Eventually, the dogs do take damage and die, because sometimes skeletons can spawn with Thorns armor. But it's quite rare, and the reason I've got 3 in there is in case one does die, I can just breed the 2. So you don't need 3 in there, but I like to have 3. Okay, so something else I have done is I have changed the way that the sorting system works. So the reason that this chest here and this wall is here is so I can be a little bit closer to the XP, so I can actually pick it up, because the XP actually won't go from the carpet under a slab for some reason, but it will go through this wall here. So I'm going to sit you guys down. You do have to be careful to not forget to sit the wolves down before you move, because then they'll just teleport to you. So I've actually got this little setup over here. I've modified this a little bit. So this is an item disposal system. Right now it's on, so any items that get picked up in the hopper will just get disposed of immediately. You can't hear it right now because I've got blocks off. But I'll demonstrate a little bit. There we go. So I'll dump a few things in here. You'll be able to hear it in a sec. I'm actually going to turn that down a little bit more because that is going to be very loud. Yeah, you can hear them. They're just getting thrown out right now. However, if I turn this off, the item disposal off, turns that off. And if I throw a bunch of items in here, eventually... There we go. They'll start to get thrown at me from this dropper up here, which is pretty sick. Now, it does take a couple to push them through, just because of how dropper chains work. So I put 14 arrows in there and I got only 11 back. They're still in the system, but once I put a few more items in here, it'll push those out. So you will collect all the items. It's just, yeah, it's not a perfect system, but you definitely collect enough. Especially if you're going to be AFKing at this for a while, because this is another bonus. Because I can't be asked and am too poor to make an automatic sorting system, what we can do is I can dump all my items in this chest here, conveniently, and fill my inventory with bones. And then if I maybe smack a few of these, sorry. I smack some of these, maybe. It'll start to spit the items at me. So it'll spit the bones at me. I'll pick up the bones and everything else will just sit on the floor and despawn after 5 minutes. Which is nice, so I can get a full inventory of bones, which is pretty sick. But yeah. So I'll really quickly grab these back and I'll show you how it works. I lost my special endless arrow, which is annoying. At some point I must have thrown it out. Alright, there we go. So I will now show you what this looks like behind here. It is a little bit of a mess because there's a few little circuits going on back here. So those hoppers behind there are connected to these ones, which eventually connect over to here. They get thrown into this dropper here. This dropper, once it picks up some items, it will detect that there's something in it with this comparator and sort of power itself back to spit the item back out. Okay. This item here, this is a dispenser with a lava bucket in it. So this is what toggles the item disposal. So when you hit this button, it'll shoot the lava out. So this dropper here will shoot it straight into lava. So I don't have to pick it up if I only want XP. But underneath this dispenser, you'll just have to trust me, there's a hopper that shoots into another dropper that's underneath this dropper that gets powered. But the same system over here that powers itself once it detects an item in it. And then similar to the tree farm, it powers all these droppers over here, which is cool. And so it takes them up this chain up to here, in which case it just goes along here and goes into this dropper, which is also getting powered every time one of these things ticks. So it'll spit all the items out, which is cool. And this right here is a T flip-flop. It just means I can use a button because I need a dispenser to be able to shoot lava out, and you can't really do that with a lever. You need a button to pulse it every time you want to spit out the lava. But the T flip-flop is just to keep the lamp on. So I do that. It'll spit the lava out, so I'll come over here and show that the bucket is empty. There we go. And the lamp stays on. And if I do it again, it turns the lamp off. But yeah, so I have been doing a bunch of enchanting, as you can see. And I did get a Silk Touch pickaxe in the end, which is pretty cool. I believe I got another Silk Touch book somewhere in here. There we go, Silk Touch, nice. So I've also done a few tools. Only one Silk Touch pickaxe still. But, so yeah, I think Silk Touch must be very rare. I forgot one very important thing I wanted to add, which was this. A little clock, so we can tell what time it is when we're down here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that is basically all I've done for the skeleton farm. And it'll probably end up just being a bone farm eventually, because I've got some plans which will hopefully obsolete the XP component of that. Although, this is fully AFK, which is nice. So I can literally go do something else and let this grind XP in. I think it takes like half an hour to get from level 27 to level 40 or something, which is pretty nice. And oh my gosh, it's so good with all the lights. Not a big fan of how there's torches everywhere, but it does look good, everything being lit up. I am yet to light up over here though, just because... Actually, there's not really a reason, I just didn't do it. But I want to show you the last thing that I've done in between episodes, which is in here. Ah, go away. And as you can see, I have completely slabbed the nether hub, because I went and did a bunch of stone mining and smelting and all that. So all our key areas, I suppose, are now here, and I've added some signs. So, you know, if I ever release the world, you guys know where to go, and if I ever forget, I know where to go. So yeah, every single path is completely slabbed out, which is awesome. Now, I'm going to go down this way, and because this is a new path going this way, while I sort of explain a little something that I want to talk about before we move on, and that is using seed maps. Now, in the last episode, I searched for over an hour and a half to try and find a jungle, and that doesn't include all the stuff I searched to make the map wall, which was a lot more. So I've explored a lot of this world, which is pretty cool. So down here, this is the ice spikes biome that we found in the last episode. I won't go there, but just trust me that there's a portal down there. And down this way is the jungle. It looks like I've forgotten to put a sign, which is a bit annoying, but yeah. Just trust me, there's a jungle down that way. So yeah, an hour and a half of exploring, which was not very fun, I will not lie. I didn't particularly enjoy it. But it is cool exploring our world and all, but, you know, when you're exploring 3,000 blocks out, you know, how often am I really going to go out there? And another thing it did actually do is increase the size of the world file by a whole lot. Like right now, the world is at, I believe, 400 megabytes, where before I created the map wall, the episode where I made the map wall, it was at about 30 megabytes. So it's literally multiplied by 10. And should I want to find a mushroom biome, which I do eventually, as well as a badlands biome, to get the hardened clay, you know, I could potentially be making the world twice that size, which I don't really want to do in case I ever want to release the world to you guys. I don't want you guys to have to download a file that's over a gigabyte, which is a bit silly. So I feel like I've done enough exploring of our world to justify using a seed map now. So I can build portals to where I need to go. So I'm not going to be using it too much. I don't want to abuse it, but I think it will save a lot of unnecessary frustration. I wanted to be able to explore the world and find things naturally rather than looking at a seed map. And I think I have gotten that experience. I've actually explored, you know, 1,000 blocks in each direction of spawn, which is pretty cool. So I've actually been able to explore that and experience that of our world. And, you know, anything I explore outside of that range, I'm probably never going to really do anything with. It also means I can build a slime farm, and if I need to use a seed map to try and find a good fortress to build a wither skeleton farm, or, you know, something along those lines. I feel like that it's within the bounds of the game, and I no longer see the point of limiting myself to not being allowed to use chunk base or a seed viewer. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into Creative World and locate every diamond that exists around here. I'm not going to use it to cheat or anything like that. I'll be using it for reasonable things, and I guess I'll just be the one that determines what I consider reasonable. So, yeah, I hope you guys understand, and yeah, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Alright guys, so as we observe this beautiful sunrise with our steak breakfast, I have been doing a whole lot of mining since the last episode. I did a little bit with the Silk Touch pickaxe, which is a nice change. I can go, you know, like almost twice as far in the tunnel before my inventory fills up, which is pretty good. So I've collected all this good stuff, and yeah, I'm going to now mine it because I like mining. I like getting good amounts of items. So I'm going to start with the coal, but this could take a moment, so let's go. Alright guys, so we've got our massive blocks of ores here, ready to mine. So I'm going to start with the coal, and I'm going to preemptively grab another double chest, just in case. I'm also going to keep these emerald ores here, just because I can get emeralds from villager trading, and emerald ores are actually pretty rare. Alright, let's start with the coal. Alrighty, so that's a lot of redstone, which is awesome. Let's get to the last thing. So we'll do the lapis first. Very nice. And finally the diamonds. So I believe there was 47. So there's 36, 37, 38, 39. So there's 41 diamonds. Okay. Let's see what we get. $64 and $25. That's not bad at all. I'll definitely take that. Don't know why I didn't put them in there. 29, almost 30 stacks of redstone. Got a little over 5 stacks of lapis. Almost a stack and a half of diamonds. And almost 32 stacks of coal. That is awesome. Oh yeah, this is our iron supply right now. I did have to use a couple stacks for the hoppers in the skeleton farm, but that's okay. And this is our gold supply. I haven't actually used gold for anything, so this is all the gold I've ever obtained in the whole world, which is kind of cool. So we can make some powered rails, should I need to. But yeah, iron is always proving to be a problem. Alright, we have 46 levels, so I think let's do a little enchanting while we're here. I'm going to have to extend this by the looks of things. And damn it, it's on the bottom half. Whatever. I think I'm going to enchant a few tools just straight up. So I'll get 2 pickaxes, maybe a shovel, and an axe to start with. Let's see what we get. Don't really want fortune again. Alright, I'll get fortune on an axe. Cool. Alright, that'll do. Nah. Okie day. Alright, and what I'll do another pickaxe and another shovel. Not bad. And not great, but also not bad. Very nice. These are all our tools so far. I might take these up and put them in the chest up the top. I'll keep the diamonds and some lapis. I'll keep some diamonds and the lapis down here. Okay, so this is my little tools chest so far. Got some nice items here to use, and my silk touch pickaxe is nearly gone, and I was hoping to get another silk touch pick to replace it when it breaks, but I may just have to stick something on it. Alright guys, that's enough dawdling. I think it's time to begin what we're actually doing in this episode. And that is making an enderman farm. For an enderman farm, that's the wrong way. We're going to need a bunch of glass, because glass is a useful block to prevent enderman from spawning, and it actually looks good. Because I want to make an enderman farm that looks impressive. Because that is what I'm about. It's not enough that things just work. Things have to look good before I can consider them finished. So that's what we're here for. And actually, I forgot something that will make this a bit easier. An enderman farm is actually going to be very useful in this world, I think. Because ender pearls are also very useful. I mean, hopefully the XP will be pretty good. It may not be quite as good as in the modern version. But I don't plan on having this be the final XP farm that I do. I do have a plan for that later on. But because there's no elytra in this game, or in this version, ender pearls will actually be very helpful, I think. They'll be useful for traveling and for future builds. So I would like to get a good supply of them sort of now. And here they are. Here's this. And we'll take, actually I'll make two. We're gonna make a couple of ender chests. Just to make life a bit easier. And I'll make three, why not? Okie day. Oop, three obsidian. Or 3 ender chests. I'll put this one over here, I think. So there's a reason to go over here. I'll probably keep one on me. And I might put the other one in the house. I really want to decorate this house a bit more because it does look quite plain. Add some furniture in here, which I'm yet to do. Let's put it there. Perfect. Just like that, we've basically doubled our inventory space. Now let's head back to the desert and get sand mining. Alrighty, so we can go ahead and turn that off. So I've moved the super smelter. Well, it's not. I made a super smelter. The other one wasn't really very super. I just moved it up here and added a few more to it just to make that go a little smoother. Now we have a whole heap of glass, which is awesome. There is one more thing I'd like to get just before we begin. I was hoping we had one in here. It does not look like it. So I'm looking for rose bushes. Now the reason I want rose bushes is because I need red dye. Because I want to make purple stained glass. Because I think it looks good. And with rose bushes, I wonder if this trick still works. I should probably check to see if it works. And it does. If you bone meal a too high plant, it will give you a new plant, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm going to do a little running around and try and see if I can find some rose bushes. Actually, does this give purple dye? Magenta. I can't. Is that actually a thing called purple dye? There should be. I kind of do want purple. Maybe I could alternate between purple and magenta. That could look kind of cool. But magenta can be plan B. Aha, perfect. Got some rose bushes here. You can see these give some beautiful red dye. Lovely. Let's head back and make some stained glass. You know what? One advantage of doing magenta and purple is that I save my lapis, which I'm going to want for enchanting. I'd always like to have a surplus of lapis because in the modern versions, I always find that I run out and have to go villager trading for it. I'd like to try and keep a surplus of it, but I feel like we should have enough for now, so let's go have a little look-see. I think the checkerboard looked kind of cool. Let's see what it looks like just without, like just with one color. Yeah, I think we'll go the checkerboard. Will I? I think I will. I think it looks cooler. I think it looks, yeah, I think it looks nice. We'll do the checkerboard. Checkerboard path. I'm here having a sook about how expensive the dyes are going to be, but in reality it's 1 dye per 8 blocks. And it's really 1 lapis per 16 blocks, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we'll be going about 200 blocks out. Each block will probably require 5 blocks. So we need roughly 1,000 blocks of glass, I think. maybe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. Probably, I'll make a few more. Why not? Okay, so that should be enough glass. And I will also need a hell of a lot of stone bricks. Good thing I've got a good amount of stone here. That probably won't be enough, but that's okay. So I'll probably come back and make like all the rest of the materials after I've done the bridge out. And the final thing I will need is I'm taking another bucket. Actually, I'll go get one from the skeleton farm. So I also need a bunch of these ladders. Take some chests, and then I'll take some logs just in case. And I will have to go grab a lava bucket real quick to do the lava trick. Alrighty, so I believe we've got everything we need to go to the stronghold. Let's do it. Alrighty, pick up some of this lava. Let's jump on in. Okie day. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a little base, because I do not want to fall and lose all my items. So I'm going to do a little digging, and I'll set up a little chest spot here just to dump all my stuff. So I'm going to be very careful here. Oh, here we go. Not to fall off, which could be a challenge. Alright, so what I'm going to do, place lava down, and we'll do the cobblestone trick. So that seems to flow very fast. I hope that should be good. Huh? Did I cock it up? What? Alright, apparently this doesn't work. That sucks. Alright, I guess the next solution is water scaffolding. Didn't want to do that because this is going to be dangerous, but I guess we'll just have to go for it. Crap. I might get a couple more blocks. Is this enough? Where are we? 49. So we have to go down 40 blocks. Yeah, we're good. This should be enough. Alright, let's go. No time like the present. Be very careful not to screw this up. So I'm going to go down to Y10. Oh god. Y10 is this one, so I have to go down 2 more. Whoop. Oh, I might drown. Crap. Did not consider that. Alrighty. There's that. Of course I didn't bring the ladders, damn it. Alright, let's slowly swim back up. Need my ladders. Now we go back down. Awesome. I'll keep those and we'll grab our glass. Awesome. It's only 241, so we'll go a couple more just to be safe. Alright, that'll do. 250. Now I've just got to repeat the pattern going back. I am pressing very hard on my sneak key right now. Like, this is very sketchy. Like, if I even take my finger off my control key for 1 millisecond, I go plummeting into the void. Goody. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, should be pretty safe for now, but what I'm going to do next is make a little guardrail. Because I do not trust myself at all. This does look pretty sick though, I won't lie. I like this quite a lot. I'm crouching because I know for a damn fact that I will come up on the edge and not realize. Look at how many endermen are up there. Oh my lord. Okay, so this guy didn't spawn here, he teleported. So I'm just gonna gently nudge him off. Goodbye. They don't spawn on glass, but they do teleport to glass. Which is okay. I don't think they teleport to leaves, which is why most people build this out of leaves, but that is ugly, and we can't have that. We just can't. It's just... We cannot have our beautiful world be plagued with leaves. Alright, so we gotta do this one more time. Alrighty, so there is our entire pathway done. But what I want to do next is make a enderman proof thing. So from inside the farm, enderman can't teleport onto it. This is way too far away from the island for them to be able to teleport to the path, but I don't want them to be able to teleport onto the path when I use the farm. So I'm going to go back and grab a few blocks to show you how I plan to achieve this. Okay. So what we're going to do, so I'll line it the same way like this. So we've got to go out 32 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 29, 30, 31, 32. Cool. We might actually run out of glass doing this. Alright, so what I've got to do now, get purple there. We're going to extend this out to the side. I'm sure you can probably guess what I'm going to be doing. Okay, go down, get in. Alright, we are safe. Until I have to get back there. So what I might have to do is camp at this end until some of them despawn. Or should I brave it? Alright, I'm going back. They're not going to get mad at me. That's the pathway done. We can actually start building the collection area next. Make a little platform. Okay, I think this would be a good spot for the enchanting table over here. I'm just sort of starting with stone bricks. I can always redecorate this later. Alright, so enchanting table is going to go just here. Perfect. Can't imagine why people would play hardcore before there was Elytra. Like, that just does not sound fun to me. Imagine just losing your entire world when building something like this. So here's going to be a little base room. And in here is where we're going to actually kill the enderman, I reckon. Sorry, I'm not talking very much. This is a little scary. I won't lie. This does make it a lot more interesting though. Alright. So in here's where we're going to be collecting all the stuff. Eventually I will make a way to actually send all the items back to the portal, because I think that's really awesome. But for now, what I'm going to do is this is where it's going to go. So we'll get a chest here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The killing platform is going to be 7 blocks wide. And all the items are going to just funnel into this chest for now. Okay. I forgot to bring a bunch of redstone stuff for the turning off and on thing, but whatever. Because I'm going to have a automatics switch and an XP switch, so I can move it out of the way. So that'll do for now. Let's get a little setup over here. See, this is where they're all going to stand. Here, once it's like this, like I'll be able to punch them, but then I won't really be able to collect the blocks. I could use soul sand. That is another idea. But I guess if I'm here, I'll be able to pick up all the ender pearls anyway. I am going to make a quick infinite spring down here. This is where the enchanting table is going, but for now I'm just going to make a infinite source. because I'm going to make a little roof. And it's going to be 3 blocks tall, but I'm going to put a slab down on the underside. By the way, here's a cool trick you can do in this version. This is how we used to build up from 3 blocks like this. You can place things on the sides of the blocks like this. So you can't actually place it directly on that block. You have to place it there. I'm pretty sure enderman can teleport to carpet unless there's 2 layers of it. That could be another method, I spawn proof. Or teleport proof, I guess it is. Whoa. Oh, would you look at that? Perfect amount. Okay, I definitely do not have enough slabs. Did I bring any more? Oh, okay, good, I did. Glad I forethought that. And this is where the farm is going to, or the drop chute is going to be. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, endermen can't, oh, they can, crap. Oh, I'm dumb. Built this 1 block too high. Damn you. Alright, I guess we'll rip it out and do it again. Alrighty. A little bit more cramped, but that's okay. It's better than 2 blocks, and now enderman can't get in here anywhere, I think. However, I am going to have to water or teleport proof the top up here. I don't have my ladders, so I'm just going to make a little staircase. Yeah, that's cool. And we've already got 4 ender pearls, so we need a bunch for when we do the endermite. However, I think I'm going to be doing the rest of this farm, well, the platforms and the drop chute as a time lapse, because it's actually very simple. And yeah, it's not very interesting to watch. So yeah, let's get started. Cut to the time lapse. Alright guys, so we just got done building the enderman farm, and I say it turned out really good. So, every single time I get interrupted by that damn noise. Why is there a cave noise in the end? Oh well. So, we've got a nice path here. The purpose of this path is to prevent the enderman from teleporting out. Oh sorry, the purpose of this water cover thing is to stop them from teleporting away. And, you know, we come on in. And we've got a nice little room in here with all the stuff we'll need. Got some enchanting. I haven't put an anvil or anything like that yet. And yeah, I've got the mob sound all the way down or completely muted for a reason, as you can see. I got a little storage system over here. But of course the main star of the show is this thing here. This is where you kill all the endermen. So all these endermen are 1-hit kill. So, you can go along and collect all the XP. which is pretty cool. Now, I was contemplating a way to automatically do this, to be able to automatically get XP, but the reality is this thing gives so much XP that I don't think that's worth it. Like, I can get all the enchanting that I need done, you know, in a couple of minutes tops, so I don't think there's any point making him, you know, potentially sacrificing looks, I guess, is the reason I wouldn't do it. Just because I think it'd be a bit janky. I'd have to use like a minecart rail, but yeah, this thing is so fast that the player can't actually keep up with absorbing the XP, which is kind of insane. Yeah, there's always enderman there to kill. Like, there's never a gap where there's no enderman. It is insanely efficient. And of course, it gives a massive amount of ender pearls too. So this thing over here, what it does is it lowers this block down. But what I'll do is I'll just dispatch the rest of these. Alright, as you can see, yeah, this is how fast this farm is. It is insanely quick. And as you can see, I've been doing a little bit of farming just because I wanted to get some ender pearls just for stuff, and I wanted to just test it. And yeah, this farm is so unbelievably fast. It produces more ender pearls than a hopper can like transfer, which is kind of insane. So alright guys, so this is what it looks like at the top. There's no enderman up here because I filled the mob cap up down there, which is cool. So I've just got a little platform here. I tried to be fancy and make a pattern, but don't know if it looks good or not, but I'll keep it because why not? And I've got this little setup here. It's a hole that's 7 blocks wide. And in the middle block, 1 block up, there's a minecart with an endermite in it, who has been name tagged. I named him Purple Pimple because he looks like a purple pimple. And then, oh, hello. We got a straggler. So, as you can see, I've got a slab on like either side except for one here. And I've got trapdoors and a fence there just to be able to make so they can pathfind to the endermite. And I've got a slab on the 4th block. So now the fastest way for them to get to the endermite is to go this way and try to pathfind to it like that. Well, it's the only way to get there, actually. Alrighty, so this should hopefully be more than enough stuff I need for the rest of the build. I just wanted to be prepared because all this stuff could be useful anyway. So figured I might as well make more. I nip to the ice spikes biome and grab some ice and packed ice. Normal ice is just going to be convenient water source blocks, which is nice. But yeah, I think we're going to do another time lapse. You guys are quite lucky, aren't you? So I'm going to ferry this all over to the enderman farm and we're going to get started. So cut to the time lapse. Alrighty guys, so we got done building the collection system for the ender pearls, and I think it's pretty cool. So there's an ice path going underneath the main bridge, which looks pretty nice, I think. So when I turn it on, you'll be able to see all the ender pearls. So if I come back here, right a bit far away, as you can see, I've added another switch. This is the ender pearl collection system. So what it does is I have all the stuff turned off because this is going to be very loud. When I turn this on, what it does is it makes a dispenser shoot out all of the ender pearls into the stream, and there's quite a lot right now, which is pretty cool. So I'll is there a way to get down there? Yeah, there is. Lovely. So pretty straightforward how it works. Yeah, it just pushes a redstone block into this comparator clock and powers this dispenser. Sometimes they get stuck like that, which is a bit annoying, and sometimes you can collect them like this, but for the most part, they all get traveled up there. I think it's just glass being a bit buggy. But yeah, and if I feel like turning it off, I can. But yeah, I'll come show you what I've done on the other side. Alright guys, so if we come over here, I've got this little setup down here. These two solid blocks here are to hopefully make them stack up a little bit more. Just to make it a bit more consistent that it'll go up the elevator. And that is missing a glass block, whoopsie. And as you can see, I've got this little fence set up here. What it'll do is it'll shoot the ender pearls into the fence, which will glitch it into the glass, taking it all the way up. So it's a very consistent system, and it's actually really quite clever how it works. I'm not actually sure if it works in the modern version. I just remember it from the olden versions. But yeah, very simple stuff, but also very good stuff. So I'll come up and show you what I've got on the top. And this is what it looks like up here. So all the ender pearls end up making their way to this water, and they go straight into the ender portal here. And then where they go on the other side is not right here. Here they go to the spawn point. So I'll show you what I've got set up at spawn. Alrighty, so welcome to the spawn point. So I used a compass to find this. This is where the spawn of the world actually is. And this is where the ender pearls will go when they go through the portal. So they just get sucked into these hoppers, and I've got a couple of chests around here just to store them for now. I don't know really what I'm going to do with it from here. I'm not sure if it'll actually work, making a transportation system back to my base, which is all the way over there. But, you know, I've got plenty of ender pearls for the time being, so I think we'll be okay. But at least I can say that this project is complete, which is really the main thing, the main reason I did this, so yeah. Alrighty, I think that is going to just about wrap up this episode. So, thank you all very much for watching. I'm very thankful that we got this project done, and it's going to be very beneficial for the future. So, yeah, have a good day everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra!